Well, hello, traders and investors. I'm LA Little. This is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets from a neoclassical perspective, and we're looking at supply and demand on the charts. While we do that, the old tape reading exercise from way back in the 20th century. Do the show 4 times a week, Monday through Thursdays, broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube under the channel LA Little. If you want to subscribe and you haven't, just reach up in the right hand corner and do so. Anytime I push public content, you'll get a notification. As far as these markets, let's take a look at what we got here. I'm pulling up the S&P. You had an update today. It wasn't big. The NASDAQ had the biggest push. This is the S&P. Got up and over the bar from Friday. Started out weak, just kind of climbed most of the day, then gave it up right towards the end. 24.2692. We closed it just over it. Volume just slightly heavier. You're inside this range. You're inside the other range. This just looks like range stuff, right? Nothing special there. Let's look at the NASDAQ. See what that one looks like. And on the NASDAQ, it looks a little bit stronger. And you're back inside this range. And so the range I'm talking about is the range we see back here. And if we pull that up to there, and then you've got this other one that is the bottom of that, we could actually include that. Right, so that range could go all about like that. So you can see you're at the bottom of the range trying to break it all out. You did test under, get under, you changed trend here on this bar, right? But other than that, it's back inside the range, so it wants to bounce. You know, anytime you see these kinds of things, you ask yourself, where can it bounce to? The obvious spot, this big wide price spread bar, top of that one. That's the one that's got volume on it right here. That's where you got to expect it. And so you got up towards it, didn't quite get to it. If you test into it and you can't get over it, well, then you go back down the other way. That's the way it works. That's markets. That's price discovery. That is what you're keying on as key test, and you're using the information they give you to make decisions. If we look here on the NDX, right, here's the key bar there, right? That's the place it's going to be shooting for. So you're looking at that price point. You got this wide price spread bar. You're back over the top of it, or excuse me, the bottom of it. So you're back inside the range, right? You tested down. You tried to break it down. You couldn't break it down. Blah blah blah. Right? Same sort of thing we see all the time. Where's it going to? First spot is that one, and then if it gets over it, right? Right now, technology is the one that's trying to push. If it gets over it, then it tries to get to this area, and that's where you would find some problems. Now, one of the things I've talked about before, people kind of like, forget about it, so we'll bring it up one more time, is that the way you get larger moves down is you get failed bounces. You've got some key resistance now set up here at the top, right? This is on the NDX. That area there should be hard to get over. If you come back up to it and you can't get over it and you start back down, and you got a swing point low here, and potentially you make another one there, assuming it takes another 4 weeks to do all this, then you might have some issues. But that's looking way out into an arena that we're not even close to yet. But I just thought I'd bring it up and show you. Here's the Russell. What does the Russell do? Now the Russell was interesting today. Starts out weak, goes all the way back up, gets over Friday's bar, then closes under it with a hanging man, but it does have more volume. And so all of that tells me is you're still range bound up here, right? Trying to get back to the top and trying to test up there again. So again, nothing special, not a good close, but then again, the whole market didn't have a good close. Let's take a look at the sectors, see if there's anything there, starting with the IBB. Just a lot of chop here. Home builder's been strong. Anything there? It continues higher, pushes up, breaks out. Transports also, well, actually they did an over under. They just made a brand new high. They do an over under. Gonna try and head back down, it looks like, tomorrow. Semiconductors, and they got a little push today. These are coming back now. Now they had been hit the worst, right? So they're just trying to get back into this range, right? And so they're back into that range, as you see there, and that price point is where it should have some trouble. If it's going to, if it gets over that, it can push to the next side of it, right? Which would be probably about a 50% bounce. And so you're kind of a third of the way up here. You got about a 50% up there. You know, you don't need all those lines on your charts. You can just see it here. That's what everybody else is trying to look at. Doesn't matter. What matters is the levels and what is there waiting on it when it gets there. Basic materials, it looks like they pop into the 2 big bar top and stay into it so they can try and rise a little bit more tomorrow. Energy, what a world of hurt this has been in. And it had that little test failure to get lower and got a little bounce off of it. Financials, now they had the big run. They're probably trying to pull back. Still a doji inside of it, so tomorrow will be a decision day for them. Industrials were reasonably strong today. Didn't quite test the top. They can try again tomorrow. Technology, as we already talked about, was strong. That one's just pushing into these 2 bars, trying to get to the top of the lower of the 2. Durables, boy, these have been under pressure and continue to be. Look at this. No bottom in sight for those guys. And we had already talked about this once, right? When you fail to hold a bullish retest regen, which is what this did, sideways at best. And now it's testing the next one down and trying to give it up as well. A lot of hurt in that sector. Whatever's driving it, and you can make up your reasons, but whatever's driving it is not good. Healthcare, nothing there. Consumer discretionary, that looks like it's going to bounce to me. Consumer discretionary, also not much there. It looks to me like you've got a mixed market just like we've had. Nothing's really changed. You got a few sectors want to move up, a few sectors want to move down, and overall the indexes still look okay. Let me see what the world indexes look like. Yeah, if I can find them here. And there we go. And I want to look at Europe real quick. We'll start with the CACs and the DAX. And really nothing happening here. Got their little bounces going. So I don't think anything major is happening here, folks. Looks to me like another day of blasé coming at you tomorrow. Take care.